President Trump and the visitor he was supposed to have today, Meek Mill. Meek Mill was scheduled to have a meeting, be part of a prison reform summit that was hosted by the president at the White House.
We found out about that late last night, and we put it on the website.
Yes, it was not to be, because some other people intervened, had conversations with Meek, and basically told him they didn't think it would be a good look.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Among the people, Jay-Z.
Yes.
That is kind of interesting.
Remember, Meek his management is under Rock Nation management, so Jay-Z obviously has a skin in the game there, and he had a conversation. It was one of the people who spoke to. We
know
Meek.
three.
Yeah.
We know three, right?
There were a couple of different people who we're told reached out and expressed their concern over Meek Mill going to the White House. I guess the optics of that move, and whether or not it was actually something that would be good for him to do. And I guess those voices went out in the end because Meek ended up not going.
Did Meek, do we know, because I've made some phone calls, I'm still not clear what it was that turned Meek, because clearly he thought it was a good idea because he was going to do it. So what the arguments were that turned him?
I mean, I don't have any specific insight into that either, though, but I would assume that some people made points to him about the damage it might do overall to who he is and what he stands for if he were to go to the White House and sort of entertain that group.
You know what really shocked me when we got this information last night is that Meek has, even though he's been doing more public speaking and he is certainly being held up as, you know, as a leader in this fight for prison reform, he has never seemed comfortable to me with that spotlight and making, doing public speaking. It's just not what Meek is used to doing. I mean, Meek is an entertainer.
But I think he's an entertainer, but I think now it's a little different because he has a story to tell. He has a story to tell about how he feels like his freedom was taken from him unfairly. And
he's got a real story to tell.
Right, and it relates to people, stuff that other people are going through.
You know, I know that, and that's why he is doing it, but I just remember, Van, that a news conference he had with the governor in Pennsylvania, or maybe it was the mayor of Philadelphia, but he had a news conference and he said, look, I don't really like doing this stuff, but, you know, I do think it's an important issue.
Well,
he
in this
clearly
case,
didn't seem comfortable.
Right.
And then to send him to go to the White House.
Right. I don't know that he would necessarily be doing some kind of big, huge, grandiose speech, but if he's...
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a conference.
Right. If he's talking in a conversation with people, his experience, what he went through, the details of his case, he would know better than anyone else. There'll be a lot of things he could speak to specifically about what's going on in prison reform that I feel like people will want to hear.
Well, I guess the problem is, would President Trump allow that to happen without turning it into, you know, turning it into a photo op for?
Well, that's
for
the
him.
reason. That's the reason why you don't go if you're
right.
Meek Mill, because you're not Trump. Is probably not going to deliver, or he's shown in the past he hasn't really delivered on certain things, and you end up just being another photograph of the president.
Yeah. I wish we could have a discussion on this. We're out of time, but I agree with you. Generally, that's true, but I wonder you just give up hope if that's a good idea too.
We got hope in our own communities.
No one's saying give up hope.
Yeah, we got hope in our own communities.
There's a different way. There's a different way.
But I mean, hope being maybe he'll listen to this as opposed to don't try.
Kimberly and Minor calling in from Atlanta, Georgia. So President Barack Obama got a lot of heat for having celebrities at the White House. So now we've got President Trump, but it's interesting that the invitation was declined, as you all said, for whatever reason. I congratulate Trump for extending the invitation, and then just congratulate Meek for receiving it. From there, who knows? Just got to make decisions as each day goes by.
Yep. All right. We're going to take a break.
By the way, did you just take a break in the middle of mountain biking? That's what it looked like.
I couldn't tell.
The bike was the bike. Anyway, when we come back,
it looked like military fatigues too. I thought maybe there's like a war going on somewhere that we don't know about.
Well.